I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Rest of the for the scorecard for the Sri Lankans. LBW bowled Blackwood for 39. Pathum Nissanka, another half century for him. He was caught this morning of the bowling of Roach for 51. Nirashandi Kuala was caught behind over the bowling of Holder for 20. Suranga Lakmal caught Brathwaite, bowled Joseph 6. Dushmantha Chimera caught the silver, bowled Holder 2. And Vishwa Fernando caught the silver, bowled Roach without scoring. Another delivery from the silver outside the off stump, and there's a bit of an appeal here from Nirashandi Kuala. I'm not sure what he's appealing. He's appealing to the square leg umpire. I'm not sure what he is, but obviously Brathwaite was well grounded in his crease. I mean, actually the delivery outside the off stump, Brathwaite allowed it to be taken by Nirashandi Kuala. Nirashandi Kuala appealed vociferously. You could have heard it in a stump microphone to the square leg umpire to say, "How is that?" And the umpire saying, "Seriously, are you serious?" You could see him there taking off the bails. I figure he was thinking that Brathwaite might have lifted his back foot, but he didn't. Here comes Dhananjaya Silva. He's up again. Balls this one flighted. Played back along the pitch. There is no run. Dhananjaya Silva fields off his own bowling. The score remains 58 for 1. In terms of the fall of wickets for the Sri Lankans, 18 for 1, 64 for 2, 77 for 3, 152 for 4, 177 for 5, 203 for 6, 214 for 7, 231 for 8, 258 for 9 and 258 all out. 7 extras in the innings there for, 17 extras in the innings of 258 in their first innings. So top scores of 55 for Lahira Thirumani and 51 for Pathum Nissanka. Here comes another delivery from Dhananjaya Silva. Well forward comes Brathwaite, is pushing it back along the pitch. There is no run. So 55 from Lahira Thirumani, 51 from Pathum Nissanka, and there was also 39, of course, from Dhananjaya Silva. Then it's Chandimal with 44. Here comes Dhananjaya Silva. He's up again, bowls, and this one, there's a little bit of a bounce on that. Just turned down to backward square leg. The end of the over, no run from actually a maiden over from the Silva. 58 for 1, 19 overs gone. Brathwaite 21, Blackwood 18, the lead 154.
Yes, Dhananjaya keeping it tight. 4 overs now, 1 maiden, no wicket for 7. And of course, as we say, he'll have a lot of work to do with Mbuldinia off the field, which looks like a pretty serious injury. But they need a breakthrough from somewhere do Sri Lanka just to keep them in the game and also just to restrict West Indies advancing too quickly. So they're 154 ahead now at 58 for 1. So they'd like to dismiss one of these batsmen at least 20 minutes before the luncheon interval. You were talking about Wayne Lewis before, though. He's still vice president or secretary or whatever he was with
He's a member of WEPA. He's a member of the executive of WEPA. So Wayne Lewis is a very good friend of mine. I always remind him when I see him that I bowled him. I castled him. Here comes Dushmantha Chameera starting a new over from the Secretary Ambrose end. 2 slips and a gully go down. Blackwood is behind this one, displaying it into the V. Down to Dimith Karunaratne at mid-off. There is no run. The bowling figures for the West Indies in, of course, at Sri Lanka first innings. There were 3 wickets, of course, for, as we mentioned to you this morning, Kemar Roach. In terms of I told you about the fall of wickets. So bowling for the West Indies, Kemar Roach, 18 overs, 5 maidens, 58 runs, 3 wickets. Shannon Gabriel, 16 overs, 3 maidens, 37 runs, 1 wicket. The wicket yesterday of Dinesh Chandimal. Azari Joseph, 22 overs, 4 maidens, 64 runs, 2 wickets. Jason Holder, 21 overs, 3 maidens, 39 runs, 2 wickets. Here comes Dushmantha Chameera starting again. He's up and bowled, short delivery. And for a second, he thought there Blackwood of going for the pull shot, then pulled out of it. Taken by the wicket keeper. He does eventually ducked on the rate, 58 for 1. Nurishant Dikwala taking it behind the stumps. Jason Holder, 21 overs, 3 maidens, 39 runs, 2 wickets. Karl Mayer, 11 overs, 7 maidens, 10 runs, 1 wicket. Rakeem Cornwall, 15 overs, 5 maidens, 25 runs, no wickets. And Jermaine Blackwood, 4 overs, no maidens, 16 runs, 1 wicket. The bowling there for the West Indies. So they would have started with a lead on first innings of 96. They've progressed to 58 for 1, therefore the lead of 154. 96, a handy lead on first innings. And so far, the wicket to have gone, John Campbell, caught behind for 10. Here comes a delivery which is punched into the covers, into an extra cover position. Actually, mid-off had to run around to his left. Dimith Karunaratne doing the fielding there is now on 58 for 1. So John Campbell caught behind. Caught by Nirishani Kwal off the bowling of Saranga Lakmal. Who else? He's a strike bowler. He is the leader of this Sri Lankan attack. Definitely. Certainly leads from the front, taking the first wickets invariably. John Campbell, it was caught behind for 10. 25 deliveries, faced 1 glorious cover drive. Flattering to deceive, because that was a glorious cover drive. But in the end, he was dismissed for 10. So to go with 5 in the first innings. Another failure for John Campbell. A short delivery and looking to possibly uppercut that one was the batsman Jermaine Blackwood. Then decided again to yield to the better angels of his character, Terry.
He's getting better at that, Garfield, as the innings is progressing. But that made the score 14 for 1, I believe, when Campbell went. So they've added 54.
14 for 1 it was in the 7th over when John Campbell was dismissed.
So 54 these two have added.
Absolutely.
And Campbell, yes, another disappointing series for him. Only the one significant score, if you like, of 42, 11, 5, and 10.
In the series.
Yes.
So he'll be disappointed with that, John Campbell. Here comes Dushmantha Chameera over the wicket to bowl to Blackwood, and Blackwood is caught behind. Looking for the uppercut there, and edge found, catch taken. Blackwood is not quite, he's walking off. So Blackwood goes, the second wicket going for the West Indies. Chameera strikes, short delivery outside the off stump. He wasn't quite there for the uppercut. He went for it nonetheless. Edge found, catch taken. Blackwood goes, caught for 18 by Dikwala.
No, good bowling by Chameera. He kept it short, enticing Blackwood. Blackwood twice decided to leave the ball alone, but the third one he just couldn't resist and feathered it through to Dikwala there and had to go. But an interesting innings, to say the least, by Jermaine Blackwood. He was obviously moved up the order of West Indies, looking for quick runs, and also the injury to Nakuma Bona. But very good bowling there by Chameera. He tempted him, and he just couldn't resist in the end, Jermaine Blackwood.
He yielded to the temptation, and as a result, he has lost his wickets. So Jermaine Blackwood going, caught behind off the bowling of Dushmantha Chameera for 18. Karl Mayer comes out to bat. 8 innings, 407 runs, 67.83 his average, a half century and a century. That century was, of course, a massive one. 210 not out against Bangladesh in a winning effort, in a winning run chase.
On debut.
Absolutely. As the West Indies were able to pull off an unlikely victory against Bangladesh. And when many people might have written off the West Indies, they pulled off a remarkable victory. And of course, this man, Karl Mayer, of course, laid the foundation for a 2-0 series sweep. And this man, Karl Mayer, would have played a crucial role in that. So he comes to the crease, the left-handed Karl Mayer replaces Jermaine Blackwood. Here comes Dushmantha Chameera steaming in. He's up on balls, and Mayers is behind this one, turning it into the onside to get a single. He's off the mark. Shy of the stumps there by Dimuth Karunaratne, backing up there, done by Vishwa Fernando. So 1 run to Mayers. He's off the mark, and he keeps the strike. The end of the over there from Dushmantha Chameera. 1 run and a wicket in it. The wicket of Jermaine Blackwood going for the uppercut. Edge found, catch taken behind. 59 for 2. The score, 20 overs gone. The lead, 155. Brathwaite 21, Mayers 1.
Yeah, as I say, excellent over there by Chameera. He's looked good this morning, but he was definitely targeting Jermaine Blackwood, who never settled at all from the time he walked out at number 3, crucial number 3 position in any batting order. But Chameera did well, and Sri Lanka would be happy to pick up that wicket before lunch. They'd put on some 54 runs, had Brathwaite and Blackwood. So that just keeps the West Indies in check and also keeps Sri Lanka in the game. So 59 for 2, leader 155.
Here comes Dhananjaya Silva starting a new over bowling to Karl Mayer, who comes right forward, well forward, solidly in behind that one. Bat and pad close together, pushing it down the onside, down the offside of the pitch. There is now run 59 for 1. The lead now 155. Dhananjaya Silva, by the way, changing his line of attack to the left-hander. He's bowling around the wicket to the left-handed Karl Mayer. So here comes Karl Mayer starting again, 59 for 1. He's up to the wicket, bowls, and this one down the leg side, looking to just whip it down to fine leg. He would have gotten some significant runs because there's no fine leg at this point. Didn't quite make any contact. The ball is coming off the pad and just trickling out to the onside. The short leg fielder, who's not at forward short leg, almost in a kind of leg gully position, does the fielding. There is no run. This one is just pushed back along the pitch.
They've moved the short leg behind square, and they've moved the deep backward square leg in front of square.
He's almost a deep mid-wicket. Here comes another delivery, which is punched into the covers, and diving over it there was Ashin Bandara. It goes down to deeper into a long off position. Fielded there, 60 for 1. Myers moves on to 2. So almost diving over the ball there. Vernon does like a diving over the ball kind of situation. He wants the players to stay on their feet.
Stay on their feet, yes, most definitely.
Very good morning to you, Vernon. And by the way, you haven't heard Vernon's voice. Sorting out a bit of an issue. He's, of course, will be back with you in a short while. This one is punched again down to mid-on by, this time, by the captain, Craig Brathwaite. No run, 21. He stays on 60 for 2.
But speaking, Garfield, of staying on your feet, Tirumani would have done well to stay on his feet when he was trying to take that slip, which was really a regulation slip catch.
Indeed. Slip and a silly point as this one is played back along the pitch by the captain, Craig Brathwaite. That's the end of the over there from De Silva. 1 run from that De Silva over. He's keeping things tight. None for 8 from 5 overs, Dhananjaya De Silva. 60 for 2, the West Indies. 21 overs gone in their second innings. The lead, 156. Brathwaite, the captain, 21 from 56. Mayers, 2 from 5. The latest score here at a sunlit Sir Vivian Richards Stadium.
Yes, very nice to say that it's sunlit, and hopefully it will stay that way. But Dhananjaya is certainly doing his job. 5 overs for just the 8 runs, keeping things nice and tight for his captain, Karunaratne. And you would suggest that a lot would depend on this partnership.
Here comes the Dushmantha Chameera. We'll get back to that. Short delivery going over the head, just ducking under it was Karl Mayers. It's obvious that Dushmantha Chameera will be banging some short ones in here. He got the wicket of Jermaine Blackwood with a short delivery, looking to uppercut it, getting the edge, and he'll perhaps be bowling the same way to Karl Mayers.
Yeah, and not a bad ploy by Chameera, because West Indians in general love to go for the hook or the pull shot, and that always gives him a chance. He's got 2 men back, really wide, fine leg, and a deep backward square leg, so good intelligent bowling.
Here comes Dushman for Chimera. He's up to the wicket to ball, and this one is pulled, and there will be dropping just short of the deep backward square leg fielder Ashen Bandar. Going for the pull shot there was Karl Mayer. Didn't quite get a hold of it, and you were sage on it because, as you mentioned, setting him up, trying to set up Karl Mayer's short ball, and now the captain comes out to have a quick word with him. The captain, Craig Brathwaite, who's now taking strike. They got one. The ball was in the air for a time. Ashen Bandar thought he might have had a chance at it. He was steaming in, but it dropped well short of him, and he took it on the first bounce. So 61 for 2, Mayers on 3, but he'd be very mindful about that shot because he was being set up there by the bowler. Let's see what the feel is for Craig Brathwaite, the right-hander. 2 slips to gully. In terms of on the onside, there's a deep fine leg and a deep backward square leg. Here comes Chimera. He's up to the wicket, balls, and this one is just a pitched up delivery, whipped into the onside. A shot of Fernando at short mid-wicket as the feeling. There is no run. 61 for 2.
Yes, and I still say that the deep backward square leg for Craig Brathwaite is wasted. He'd be better off at a normal square leg position to stop the chance of a single. But good bowling to Mez, and that's what I was saying. He's just come in. You know he's going to go for the shot. He is hitting into the wind from that end also. And luckily for Mez, on that occasion, it did drop short.
Here comes Dushman for Chimera. He starts to move in again. He bowls this time outside the off stump. Craig Brathwaite picks up the line. The shoulders, arms allows it to be taken by the wicket keeper. There is no run. Brathwaite stays on 21. He's being very focused, very watchful. He's trying to anchor the innings, trying to be the adhesive which ties together this West Indies innings. Yes. That's essentially the role that he sees for himself. And he did that literally in the first innings because he was the first man to take the first ball and the last wicket to fall. Mm-hmm. He made 126 in that 454 that the West Indies made in their first innings. A handy lead of 96 on first innings as a result. And they're building on that. The lead now 157. They're 61 for 2. Brathwaite faces up to Dushman for Chimera. He's up and ball, short delivery, ducking on the red is Brathwaite, taken by Nira Shandikwala. Brathwaite will not be tempted to go for that shot because there's a deep fine leg and a deep backward square leg.
Yes, and that's what I say. You won't, very unlikely anyway, that you'll see Brathwaite go for that shot. And so therefore I feel that they could move the fieldsmen in to try and keep the runs down. At 157 the lead, 61 in the session so far for the West Indies. So if they are looking at around 350 plus, they certainly have to move on in the...
Dushman for Chimera comes up in bowls to Craig Brathwaite, who just plays this one into the covers, into the short cover position. There is no run. Dimath Purunaratne does the fielding. That's the end of the over from Chimera. 1 run coming from it. Chimera is 1 for 7 from 4 overs. 61 for 2 after 22 overs. The West Indies. Brathwaite 21 from 60. Mayers 3 from 7. The lead 157.
Yes, as I was saying, the West Indies would definitely need to turn it up a notch in the post-lunch session if they are looking at around 350 because they only look like they're going to get about 60 odd in this session pre-lunch. So interesting times. Sri Lanka doing well, hanging in. They'll be saying another couple of wickets.
Around the wicket, bowls is Dhananjay De Silva bowling to Karl Mayer, who just whips this down to backward square leg position, fielded by Vishwa Fernando. 1 more run to Mayers. He moves up to 4. The score 62 for 2. 62 for 2 as we look at the television monitor and we see a very relaxed looking Shannon Gearbowl just putting his right foot leg up and trying to get some rest. He'll be needed as the West Indies will be looking to enforce a victory here. Yeah. Here comes another delivery from Dhananjay De Silva bowling to the right-handed Craig Brathwaite this time. Is turning it into the short mid-wicket position, fielded by the substitute Ashen Bandara. There is no run. 62 for 2. The score remains. Making sure that his bat is in front of his pad, so that there's no shot for LBW. Silly point and a slip in place as this one is just whipped into the onside by Craig Brathwaite, fielded there by Dasun Shanaka, another substitute fielder. There is 1 more to Brathwaite. He's accumulating his runs easily. Just looking for the gaps, 1s and 2s. Brathwaite. He's now 22 from 62, 63 for 2. We're in over number 23. Mayers on 4 from 8 to take strike. He's a left-hander, so the left-hand, right-hand combination will be very judicious for the West.
Yes.
Very helpful for the West Indies because it puts puts the bowlers off their lines. Here comes Dananjaya De Silva. He's up on balls, and this is dust down the leg side. There's a bit of a stifled appeal there. Holding his head up above his head was Oshana Fernando. He was just about to go up and then realized that that one was easily going down the leg side. No appeal at all. And the timer runs out, and no interest in going for the review. Here comes Dananjaya De Silva. He's up again and bowls, and this one down the leg side again. It will a bit of a run here for Oshana Fernando. He retrieves it in a short fine leg position, running under the helmet and with a pad under his flannels. Yes, the pad under his flannels. So one more leg by to the score, 64 for 2. Brathwaite now will be coming into strike. He's on 22 from 62. The one ball left in over number 23. 160 is the lead now.
Yes, and Dananjaya is getting the ball to skid on a bit. Yeah.
We'll tell you about Dananjaya as a last ball, and outside the off stump there was a silly point and a short mid-wicket, a straightish mid-wicket, pretty much on the edge of the pitch in place for that last ball to Brathwaite from Dananjaya De Silva. 3 runs from that Dananjaya De Silva over. He's none for 10 from 6 overs. 23 overs gone in the West Indies second innings. 64 for 2. Brathwaite 22. Mayers on 4. The lead 160.
Yes, but he just needs to be a bit careful of his line. His line is more down leg side at the moment when he's bowling to the left-handed Mayers, and he's only got the deep backward square leg for protection. So if Mayers does get any bat at all onto it, it will run away to the fine leg boundary.
So it's going to now be the new delivery, a new over to be started by Dushmantha Chameera. He's had some success so far. I'll tell you about the bowling figures for the Sri Lankans. So as I said, the 2 wickets to have gone down this morning for the West Indies. It's John Campbell caught behind of the bowling of Suranga Lakmal. He made it 10, and the last wicket going that of another catcher the wicket. As this one is another delivery, another over started by Dushmantha Chameera bowling to the left-handed Mayers. As the sun goes behind the clouds here, a few passing clouds, high-level clouds for the time being though. This one is just pushed into the offside by Karl Mayer. There's no run, 64 for 2. So the other wicket to have fallen, that of Jermaine Blackwood, the vice-captain, batting at number 3 because there's an injury to Nkrumah Bonner, who was batted at number 3 in this series. He went caught at the wicket as well of the bowling of Chameera for 18. 41 deliveries faced by Jermaine Blackwood, 2 fours. John Campbell faced 25 deliveries, 1 4. The not-out batsman Craig Brathwaite, 22, Karl Mayer's 4. Mayers faces short delivery and cut over the slip cord and down to third man for 4. Uppercut, deliberately playing that one over the slip cord and down to the third man boundary for 4. Mayers up to the challenge.
Yeah, excellent shot there by Karl Mayer. He just waited on the ball, used the pace of the Chameera delivery, and just uppercutted over the slips cordon. He's the key for me, though, if West Indies really want to press on, especially after lunch.
He's
if
enforcer,
he gets going.
He's enforcer.
He
can
going.
Really
look
up
out
the ante.
outfield. Yes, definitely.
Marley had said that when Jermaine Blackwood was here, we needed to strap in. We needed to buckle our seatbelts. We might very well do that with Karl Mayer. He's facing up now to another delivery from Dushmantha Chameera, turned down to deep fine leg. Doing the fielding there is Suranga Lakmal. 1 more to the score. Mayer's moving up to 9. The score 69 now for 2. Brathwaite on 22 comes back into strike. In terms of the bowling so far for the Sri Lankans, so a wicket apiece for Suranga Lakmal and Dushmantha Chameera. The wickets fell at 14 for 1 when John Campbell went in the 7th over, 58 for 2 when in the 20th over when Jermaine Blackwood is caught behind. Of course, both batsmen going caught behind. John Campbell for 10 as well as Jermaine Blackwood for 18. Suranga Lakmal so far 6 overs, 2 maidens, 13 runs, 1 wicket. Vishwa Fernando 7 overs, no maidens, 26 runs, no wickets. Dananjaya De Silva 6 overs, 1 maiden, 10 runs, no wickets. And Dushmantha Chameera, who is bowling now before this, 4.2 overs, no maidens, 12 runs, 1 wicket. He starts to move in over the wicket, 2 slips in the gully, go down. He bowls to Craig Brathwaite, gets right in behind this one, just whipping it into a short mid-wicket position. There is no run, 69 for 2. Brathwaite stays 22.
Yes, and Brathwaite looking as solid as a rock once again, playing the foil or the second fiddle to his partners thus far, making sure that one end is secured. They get as many runs as quickly as possible, because time is of the essence in this match. As we approach lunch. This could be the last over, 2 balls left.
Here comes another delivery from Dushmantha Chimiri. He's off to the wicket and bowls, and this one is displayed, just getting right on top of that one. A sharp, rising delivery, just turning it into a short mid-wicket position. There is Naran Brathwaite, showing his solidity, his solemnity of purpose, his application, his discipline, his concentration. Of course, 126 from him in the first innings, his 9th test ton, and so I'm pretty sure that Black Rock in St. Michael in Barbados, Karl Mayer in Barbados would be cock-a-hoop about the 9th test century for of course, Craig Claremont Brathwaite.
And first is skipper.
Indeed. Here comes Dushmantha Chimiri over the wicket bowls, and this one again another back of a length delivery, just getting right on top of that one, punching it to mid off the end of the over. No run, 69 for 2, and that is likely to be lunch on the day. It's at 12 o'clock exactly here in the Eastern Caribbean, and the umpires, let's see what they will be doing here. They will be going to lunch. So that's lunch here. 69 for 2, the West Indies, 24 overs in the session, 27.5 overs in the session, 77 runs, 4 wickets falling in the session, and a run rate of 2.77. Of course, 4 wickets would have been shared equally between the West Indies and Sri Lanka. The two remaining wickets for Sri Lanka went this morning. And of course, 2 wickets going down for the West Indies in their second innings as well. So the West Indies, after having bowled out the Sri Lankans for 258 this morning, therefore establishing a first innings lead of 96, they have since progressed to 69 for 2, and with Craig Brathwaite, the captain, not out on 22 from 66, and Karl Mayers not out on 9 from 13. The batsmen to have been dismissed so far: John Campbell, caught by Dikwala of the bowling of Lakmal for 10, and also Jermaine Blackwood, caught by Dikwala of the bowling of Dushmantha Chimera for 18. The West Indies, therefore, a lead of 165, and they're certainly looking to push on, and also keeping, Terry, one eye on the weather, because, of course, the rain is around in the forecast, a 70% chance of rain today and tomorrow as well.
Yes, one eye on the weather, one eye on the clock, and Brathwaite will be there as the rock. I think a lot depends on Mez, if he can get going in the second session. But West Indies overall will be very happy with their performance so far today. The idea was to keep that lead, which started at 104 this morning, around about the 100. They did that. They knocked the 2 Sri Lankan batsmen over through Kumar Roach very quickly this morning, in only 20 minutes of play. Cleaned up the Sri Lankan innings for the addition of only 8 runs, so the lead was a very handy lead of 96, and they've pushed that up to 165 now, is 69 for 2. So this middle session coming up post-lunch will be key to determine how far it goes as far as a positive result is concerned for West Indies.
All right, we're seeing whether or not we can get a quick interview with Mickey Arthur here in terms of, it might be a little bit difficult because he's actually doing an interview with television as we speak, Mickey Arthur, but not quite possible to get Mickey Arthur. It'll be interesting to hear what he has to say as he goes into, of course, the lunch break here. But let's see what the post-lunch session has in store. Let's remind you of what would have happened this morning. The West Indies, therefore, were able to wrap up things very, very quickly in that Sri Lanka innings. They were able to take the remaining 2 wickets this morning, and doing it quite easily and quite quickly. About 20 minutes, Terry, they were able to take those 2 wickets, the Sri Lankan wickets, for very few runs indeed. The Sri Lankans were all out for 258 in their first innings, responding, of course, to the 454 all-out made by the West Indies in their first innings. So the lead that the West Indies were able to have of 96 very, very handy runs, therefore, on first innings, and they certainly were able to establish that and are pushing on now, significantly pushing on to really ensure that they are in a very, very good position in this match. The lead now is 165, the West Indies lead on, of course, in terms of building a lead for the Sri Lankans to hit off. Let's tell you about how the Sri Lankan innings went. Of course, they made 258, as we said, with 17 extras. Let's tell you in terms of who were the top scorers. The top scorers were Lahira Thirumani with 55. There was also 51 from Pathum Nisanka, as well as 44 from Dinesh Chandimal and 39 from Dhananjay De Silva. Those were the scores of note. Dimuth Karunaratne caught Bonabol Joseph Joseph for 1, Lahira Thirimani bowled Roach for 55, Oshada Fernando, LBW bowled Mayers for 18, Dinesh Chandimal was caught of the bowling of Gabriel for 44. Dhananjaya Silva, LBW bowled Blackwood for 39. Patham Nisanka caught of the bowling of Roach for 51. Nirashandi Kuala caught behind of the bowling of Holder for 20. Suranga Lakmal caught Brathwaite bowled Joseph for 6. Dushmantha Chimera caught the Silva bowled Holder for 2, as well as Vishwa Fernando was caught by the Silva of the bowling of Roach without scoring. The Lasith Mbuldana was the not-out batsman. By the way, Lasith Mbuldana later on, as the Sri Lankans came out to field, he was unfortunately injured as he actually slid to actually field the ball that was played deep into the onside by John Campbell. He actually put on the slide to overhaul the ball, and while doing the slide, he seems to have hurt or nicked something in his left hip, and so he had to be stretchered off the field. So we'll get an update on the condition of Lasith Mbuldana, the spinner for the Sri Lankans. They would have, of course, been hoping that he would be fine and he would play a crucial role in this innings as well. But so far, it looks very, very serious for Lasith Mbuldana. So a depletion of the Sri Lankan bowling attack. So far, in terms of the fall of wickets for the Sri Lankans, 18 for 1, Dimuth Karunaratne, Oshada Fernando 64 for 2, Lahira Thirimani 77 for 3, 152 for 4 was Dinesh Chandimal, 177 for 5, Dhananjaya De Silva, 203 for 6, Nirashandi Kuala, 214 for 7, Suranga Lakmal, 231 for 8, Dushmantha Chimera, 258 for 9, Patham Nisanka, and 258 Olat Vishwa Fernando when he went. Bowling for the West Indies, Kemar Roach, 18 overs, 5 maidens, 58 runs, 3 wickets. Shannon Gabriel, 16 overs, 3 maidens, 37 runs, 1 wicket. Alzari Joseph, 22 overs, 4 maidens, 64 runs, 2 wickets. Jason Holder, 21 overs, 3 maidens, 39 runs, 2 wickets. Karl Mayer, 11 overs, 7 maidens, 10 runs, 1 wicket. Raheem Cornwall, 15 overs, 5 maidens, 25 runs, no wickets. And Jermaine Blackwood, 4 overs, no maidens, 16 runs, 1 wicket. So therefore, the pick of the bowlers for the West Indies, Kemar Roach, 3 for 58, and there were 2 wickets each for Alzari Joseph, 2 for 64, and Jason Holder, 2 for 39. A wicket apiece for Karl Mayers, Jermaine Blackwood, and Shannon Gabriel, completing, of course, the Sri Lankan innings. When the West Indies came into bat, of course, with a very, very handy lead as well, they were able to push on. They've reached 69 for 2 at lunch here on day 4, 69 for 2, with rain in the forecast. A few clouds have passed overhead, nothing yet threatening, nothing yet ominous, and still blue skies largely to our east, and that's where the rain comes from at this point. Let's just recap quickly the West Indies innings. Craig Brathwaite is not out on 22 from 66 deliveries, 1-4. Karl Mayer is also not out on 9 from 13 with 1 boundary. The 2 batsmen to have been dismissed. John Campbell caught behind of the bowling of Lakmal for 10, 25 deliveries faced, 1-4. And Jermaine Blackwood, he lived dangerously. Eventually, he was caught behind, trying an uppercut of the bowling of Chimera for 18, 41 deliveries faced with 2 fours. As we said, Craig Brathwaite on 22 from 66 with 1-4, and Karl Mayers 9 from 13 with 1-4 are the 2 not-out batsmen. The wickets fell at 14 for 1, John Campbell, and 58 for 2, Jermaine Blackwood. They've since progressed to 69 for 2 going into lunch. Bowling for the Sri Lankans, Suranga Lakmal, 6 overs, 2 maidens, 13 runs, 1 wicket. Vishwa Fernando, 7 overs, no maidens, 26 runs, no wickets. Dhananjaya De Silva, 6 overs, 1 maiden, 10 runs, no wickets. And Dushmantha Chimera, 5 overs, no maidens, 12 runs for a wicket. We'll take a short break, and when we hear from our sponsors, after hearing from our sponsors, you don't want to leave our coverage here on Middle Stump, a co-production of Vibes Radio Dominica and ABS Radio in Antigua, because we have a special feature for you, a bowling masterclass from one of the greatest West Indian bowlers the world has ever seen, Sir Curtly Elcon Linwall Ambrose, who took 405 test wickets in an amazing career. You'll hear from him after we hear from our sponsors.
Vibes Radio, the champion station, the producer of Middle Stump, is pleased to be associated with the following partners: Goddard Catering Antigua, Striving for Excellence, Robinson's Bakery Dominica, Oven Fresh Bread, Cakes and Pastries, J. Astafan and Company Dominica, Right Place, Right Price, and Regions Dominica, guaranteed to make you feel at home.
Make home a happy place with furniture from Astafans and Company Limited. Furniture for every room. Beds, closets, wardrobes, side tables, even bathroom and toilet accents and accessories. Work or study from home with a brand new computer desk and chair. Relax with living room furniture, TV stands, center tables, indoor and outdoor chairs. Any piece of custom furniture you need is also available at J. Astafans and Company Limited's Furniture Factory. Call
like you're at home. Come taste the traditional dishes of Dominica in our gourmet restaurant. Enjoy a tour of the island and take a dip in the hot springs. Take an idyllic horseback ride or water sports for the adventurous. Visit Dominica and stay at the Regents Hotel. Make your reservations today, 767-275-3539 or 767-615-6221 or email info@regents.com. Robinson's Grocery at 3 Cross Street is the little grocery store with a big personality, and you helped to give Robinson's that unique image. At Robinson's, you know you are not just a shopper, but you're part of the family. So you enjoy the time you spend shopping at Robinson's. Ask our family of customers who return time and again to share that delightful feeling with us. Come see us at 3 Cross Street and join the Robinson's Family Home Grocery Store. Any day, every day, low prices, no problem.
Middle Stump, a production of Vibes Radio, the champion station, is pleased to be associated with the following stations: GBN Radio in Grenada, Real FM Grenada, Class FM in Jamaica, News Talk Radio Guyana, U97.5 in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean Broadcasting Network in the British Virgin Islands, ABS Radio in Antigua, and CBC Radio in Barbados. Join us as we bring you top-class cricket commentaries on Middle Stump.
Curly Ambrose has got the wicket.
Middle Stump.
Curly Ambrose strikes again. Wicket number 5. The Queen's Park Oval is absolutely jumping.
Edged again, Lara's there again, and Curly Ambrose celebrates his 400th Test wicket. What a bowler this man is.
Steve Waugh described him as the most complete bowler he'd ever faced, and a man that tormented that great Australian side more than any other. 405 Test match wickets, 225 ODI wickets. It is a pleasure this morning to speak to Sir Curtly Ambrose. We're here at the Oval in the indoor school. The zone is set up ready to go. Michael Afton and Nasser Hussain are ready, willing, perhaps not quite so able anymore, to face Curtly in the net. So very good morning to you, Sir Curtly. How are you?
Good morning to you. Thank you very much. I'm fine, thank you.
Steve Waugh wrote the foreword to your book. Nice words. Does that make you feel very proud when you hear a cricketer of his stature say such nice things about you?
Extremely proud. When I was doing the book, I immediately thought about Richie Benaud, the late great Australian, to do my foreword. And then I thought having Steve Waugh do the foreword as well would add a nice touch to it. So I asked him, and he readily agreed to do it. And he wrote some nice words.
We'll come on to the battles you had with Steve Waugh in due course. But was it always cricket that you loved?
No. I always wanted to be a basketball player or a football player. Cricket was maybe third on the list, but constant pressure from my mother, who is a cricket fanatic, and of course villagers from Sweets, where I'm from, and everything just took off.
Your mother was massively influential in your life and your career, was she not?
Yeah, she was. My older brother used to play for Sweets back home in Antigua. He was a wicketkeeper batsman. Many believe he would have made it to the top level before he migrated to the States to join my father. And naturally, I was next in line. And my mother, kept pestering me about being a cricketer. And I tried to be an obedient child. So I decided to give it a try. And in 1984, I started playing for Sweets. And a year later, in 85, I was selected for Antigua national team. And in 86, I was selected for the Leeward Islands team. I wasn't originally in the Leeward Islands squad, but a few of the fast bowlers got injured. And because of my exploit, playing for Antigua the year before, I was drafted in for the last game. And then 2 years later, in 1988, I became an international cricketer. So from a guy who never wanted to play cricket, within 4 years, I suddenly found myself on a big stage.
I think it was Desmond Haynes that said you had a remarkable ability to switch on and off from cricket. Do you think that stems from the fact that you didn't necessarily love it straight out of the box?
Well, yes. I'm a very proud person. And anything I do, I want to be the best. So once I turn up to the cricket games, I switch on to cricket because I know I have a job to do. At the end of the day's play, I want nothing to do with cricket. I just switch off.
Walk away.
And so that's why Desmond Haynes, he said he never met someone like that who could switch. Maybe that's why I had some success. I never worried about it too much.
Yeah. When did you realise, though, that you were good?
Well, it took me 2 years of international cricket. Because even...
Really?
Yes. Because when I was selected in 1988 for the West Indies team, prior to my first one-day international in Jamaica, the night before we left for Jamaica, I was playing basketball. And a lot of my villagers were like, "What are you doing? Are you crazy? You're traveling tomorrow?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm okay." So I was still into this basketball thing. And so for 2 years, I was like, I played, had success, and then go home, basketball.
Switch off.
Played, basketball. And then after, in 1990, when I wasn't selected for the first test match against England, I thought, maybe I need to prove these people wrong, that I can play this cricket for many years successfully. So that's when I really started to take it more seriously. Because I figured I was supposed to be selected, in my opinion, but I wasn't. And I wanted to prove everyone wrong.
Were you at your best when you were challenged like that and people doubted you?
I'm always at my best when I'm challenged. I thrive on competition.
Yeah.
And the bigger the competition, the better I usually bowl, especially when I'm riled up. So it's not a wise idea to rattle me.
What was it like walking into that West Indies dressing room for the first time in Guyana?
Well, it was kind of easy because I had Viv Richards was the captain then. You had Richie Richardson and you had Winston Benjamin and the all Antigans. So I've played with them for the Leeward Islands prior to making the West Indies team. So I had some guys around who I could hang with and talk to until I get to know the other guys. So the transition for me was kind of easy.
You played with Malcolm Marshall. Did you get on straight away?
No, we didn't. It took me like maybe 2 years to gain his respect because I remember when I made my first tour to England in 1988, I was bowling pretty well and I got a man of the match in one game. And I remember the reporter asking Marshall about Ambrose. I was basically an unknown. So we were saying Ambrose looked to be a good product, one for the future. And I remember him saying to the reporter, Ambrose is an upcoming fast bowler, but Ian Bishop is going to be the holy terror of West Indies cricket. He wasn't wrong, but I thought Bishop hasn't played a game yet. And I had a few test matches under my belt, and he never gave me any credit. So I thought, I got to impress this man.
But in the end, he helped you a lot, did he not, about thinking about the game?
Yes, in the end, once I gained his respect, then we talk a lot more. And let me tell you, to me, he was the greatest we produced in the West Indies. Not only his skills, but I think his cricketing knowledge is his asset. I mean, I used to be at mid-off, and he would tell me what he's going to do. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and this is what's going to happen. And more often than not, I remember one game in 1991 against England at Edgbaston. He was bowling to Graham Gooch, and the ball was doing a lot, and Gooch, he kept missing. And I was at mid-off enjoying that nice scenery. And he said to me, he asked me, how do you think I'm going to get him out? And naturally I say, you're going to hit the edge, because the ball is, he said, can't get him out like that. The ball is doing too much. And my first impression was, Marco got to be crazy. Because for me, I'm not going to leave there, I'm going to stay there all day. Yeah. He said, can't get him out, I'm going to bowl him. And I was like, nah, to myself, no, you're crazy. Another out swinger, then a big in swinger, and Goose was driving, and there I said to myself, you know what, leave this man alone. He understands bowling, he knows cricket. But he was a phenomenal brain.
Going to bring these two in now, if I may. What was it like being an opening batsman against this fellow?
Well, I'd say the battle at the highest level in Test cricket between an opening batsman and an opening bowler is a very simple one, that the best bowlers put the ball on your off stump, on the top of your off stump, more often than not. And him and Glenn McGrath did it more often than any other bowlers that I played against. Now, the difficulty for me, you'll see a lot of horrendous dismissals here. The problem was Curtly's 6'7". What are you, 6'7"?
6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, and Glenn McGrath similar,
yeah.
and both quick. And I found it very difficult to get forward to both of them. So they're hammering away at your off stump. You can't, on that horrible length, you can't quite get forward. And obviously the best opening batsmen deal with that threat on the top of their off stump better than everybody else. You know, I had times when I got out there.
You kept it very simple, though, didn't you? I mean, say your tactics to Michael Atton would have just been bang away, a trench outside off stump?
Yeah, I always kept it very simple. I rely heavily on my accuracy. That has been my strong suit. You know, hitting that area consistently, all day, every day. And, of course, with my height, extra bit of bounce. So I was never a guy who swings the ball. I rely heavily on the pitch to seam it about and hit that area. So, for me, it's always difficult for any opening batsman. I mean, you're at your freshest, you know, the ball is new, you know, you're psyched up to play. So I always believe that batsmen are more vulnerable at the start of the innings. And if you chip out a few wickets early, then I'm in business.
You don't get any sighters. So you know if you make a mistake, you're in trouble. If you've got a slight technical glitch, it's going to be exposed. So absolutely no sighters. He's at you straight away. And his average is incredible. He averages 20.95 or something. What that really means is when he's not getting wickets, he ain't going for any runs. You know, Anderson's average is 29 or whatever. You occasionally get a nice drive. But the tall guys, like McGrath and Ambrose, you're not getting any runs. So even when they're not getting wickets, the scoreboard's not running away from them. Incredible average.
What was the challenge? Middle order?
Well, you're usually in second ball, to be honest. So we went and stood a square leg when Athers was opening the batting. But he talks about the technical challenge. One thing we haven't mentioned is the theatre and the hostility of facing someone like him. I don't know who this bloke here is standing next to me. He's got a smile on his face. He talks great about the game of cricket. The Curtly Ambrose I knew was a bloke who didn't smile. If you nipped in ahead of him and to get your flying fish in the lunch queue, he used to stare you out. In the middle, he used to stare you out. I think in a decade, he didn't say one word to us in the middle. He used to, all the arms waving around, the sense of theatre, the crowd going berserk, the stares he used to give you. He used to look at you as if you cannot bat against me. And that's probably true, actually, with most of us. But once you went out to face Curtly, and you were forgetting about another bloke at the other end called Courtney as well. Yeah. You knew you were almost in a cauldron. And just remember the crowds back then in the Caribbean. When wickets were falling, it was like an unstoppable force. At 46 all out in Trinidad, I walked round the ground to get a roti. And by the time I got to the roti hut, we were 20 for 5, and the place was absolutely exploding because of this man.
That context is very important, you know, because now the West Indies are not so strong. There's an expectation that England will beat the West Indies. When you travel to watch a test match in the Caribbean, there's more often than not more English supporters than Caribbean supporters. But back then, when we started, we were brought up on tales of terror. You know, the 1986 team that went to the Caribbean and got whitewashed. And as NASA said, fantastic local crowds crammed into the border or the wrecked ground. So when we arrived on the test scene, and my first test against the West Indies was 1990, Marshall, Ambrose, Patterson, Walsh. You know, we had those tales of terror kind of instilled in our heads.
Tales of terror, like it. Down you go.
Talking to terror.
Down you go. Get ready. Basically, how did you grip the ball?
Well, what I do before I started bowling, I come out and I'll mark my run-up. Then I'll have a nice run through into bowl. That's part of my routine. And look at that particular area, and then I go back. The first thing I always wanted to do is to make sure that I get the first few out in the area. So I'm never thinking about getting the wicket or trying to seam the ball. I want to get a couple of deliveries out so I could feel comfortable. And after that, I started working on seam movements and looking to get wickets. So usually when I grip the ball for first up, I always have a split seam. Because I want to make sure the first couple, starting is always the hardest. So I make sure I have a split the seam so I could bring the ball down on the seam, first and foremost. And after that, I started working on the leg cutters, the nip backers and all that stuff. So that's my routine.
Sorry, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go on.
What was all that bit about? What was the arm waving about? Was that just natural?
It was just natural. It's not something that I've rehearsed.
But is that because your wrist was very relaxed?
Yeah, I'm very relaxed. That sometimes the ball even slip from my grasp sometimes because I don't really grip it as tight as most people. It's always very relaxed. So sometimes when I do that, it flips out.
Yeah.
But I'm always relaxed. I believe that you got to be relaxed when you're bowling. I'm supposed to be tense. So everything for me is just about the natural relaxation and, well, my aggression is another thing.
We'll come on to that in just a minute. Let's have some aggression now. Are you ready, Michael?
Yeah, we'll give it a go.
So how long was your run-up, by the way? Was a certain amount of paces? Did it change? Because famously you bowled all those no balls, didn't you?
Yes. When I started first, I used to like about 30 yards, just inside a 30-yard circle. And then when I came to county cricket for Northants in 1989, I quickly realized 4 or 5 months of cricket every day, that could be a bit of a burnout. So I cut my run down just to suit county cricket to about 20 yards. And I realized have the same effect. It goes bowled just as quickly. So I've never left. So it's about 20 yards. Yeah.
Well, you don't need to go 20 yards here.
Should I warm up first?
Well, you can warm up or just...
But the funny thing about it, if I warm up, I may not be able to bowl.
Are you ready, Michael? The challenge is, does this bring back memories?
Bad ones.
Bad ones. I'll bowl a couple at Michael, then we'll get Nasser in the firing line. Oh, Athers is off strike, which means you can't sit on your bat hand at the non-striker's end.
He's lasted longer than he'd normally do.
I've no thigh pad on.
Oh, it's Carl Hooper, no thigh pad. At any point were you thinking of driving him?
Maybe now, but not then. That was the issue, really. I felt I could never get forward to him and McGrath. So I'm always kind of pinned to the crease. And naturally, I think most batsmen like to think that they can get forward to a bowler. It's that horrible length with the bounce, and you'll see a lot of my dismissals where I'm kind of on the crease, nicking off.
So you'd look at an area down here?
Yeah, yes. I'll mark my one up, then I'll have a nice run through, get the legs going.
Yeah.
I remember I occasionally used to see you in the morning, you'd mark out how many footsteps would your length be?
It's just three of these from the back crease.
No, but where you wanted to pitch a length. Occasionally, I saw you kind of mark out from the popping crease.
I always come and look at the area, because this is my area. You're not going to see too many ball marks for the drives. I hate to see batsmen driving. You want to drive, you go by a car, right? So I'm always in this area here. And when you look at the pitch, you can see all the ball marks in a small area, and that has been my hallmark and my strength.
Yeah.
Be able to hit that area consistently all day.
Come back, because I'd like to talk to you about your brilliant spells. You get on this roll where you're almost irresistible. I mean, you had 7 for 1 in Perth and Trinidad and all that sort of stuff. It always seems your knees were higher. Was it a simple thing of just running in a little bit quicker every now and again? Or was it when you got those competitive juices flowing?
Yeah, once you're taking wickets, obviously, the adrenaline flowing, everything, and legs pumping and the back of the heel hitting the back here. If you notice, a lot of times they have 2 marks on the back of my pants because the legs are going up more and they're pumping and really in that zone. So when I'm in that zone, I've always felt invincible.
Nash, you want to go and get ready?
No.
Yeah, go and get ready. But what fires you up? Because, for example, Trinidad, you were batting. Andy Caddick's the bowler. What's this shot, Ambrose? And what were you thinking as you walked off, getting ready to bowl and get fired up?
Well, I remember that game clearly. We were struggling for runs. I remember Richie Richardson, the captain, said that, bat as long as you can. The longer you bat, we can accumulate some more runs. Because I believe I can handle my bat.
Yeah.
So there's something about Andrew Caddick. I mean, every time he bowls to me, I always want to take him out the attack. I don't know why. And I played a while. I was batting well all along. And then England took the second new ball. And for some reason, I just played a wild swipe that we just saw there and got bowled. And I was saying to myself, as an experienced man, that wasn't good. And the guys weren't too happy either.
No.
So I said to myself, I got to do something magical to sort of get back in the good books.
And you did. What was this like from a batsman's point of view?
Well, the nightmare scenario was that we'd actually dropped a few catches, and so it meant that West Indies prolonged their innings. They had, I think, an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes to bowl on that final day, when really we should have been out there just after lunch batting. So it was the perfect scenario. He knows he's only going to bowl one spell. The pitch is a little bit up and down. You'll see a few deliveries really shooting low, so he's hammering away on a length. And then look at the crowd. Nasser made a really good point. The atmosphere inside the Queen's Park Oval was incredible that evening. And so there's just a great sense of hostility, both on the field and then the 15,000 or so people around the ground as well.
What did you have against poor Jack Russell?
I had nothing personal against Jack Russell. He's a stubborn cricketer. He's a good bloke. But just the way he carries himself. You know, he got some pads that look like he was given to him by W.G. Grace. You know, and I don't know. So he never looked the part. And he had this thing of walking away and grunting and so he used to really irritate me. So when he comes to bat, I was like, you know, I don't want to see you for too long. You got to get rid of him. You know, but it was nothing personal. He's a good bloke, though.
He's a good bloke. Steve Waugh, we mentioned. I'm going to jump out of that. We want to get you fired up because you're going to bowl at Nas. That's why I'm doing this. Quickly, we want to bowl at it. What was this all about? Do you regret it? Or was it the theatre of Test match cricket in the cauldron? That's what it's about.
I wouldn't say regret, because what happened, that series in 1995 was the decider. We were the number one, they were number two. And whoever win that series, if they win, they move to number one. And we didn't want to relinquish our number one status, so they were leading the series 1-0. It's a game we had to win. The pitch was a lot of grass was on the pitch, a bit of moisture, as we say in the Caribbean, a lot of juice. And I was really enjoying the moment. And he was having a little difficulty. I mean, he batted well, he got 6 yards, played well, but he kept missing and, you know, and he sweared at me. And I have to admit, I didn't hear him. It's one of my teammates told me that he said to F off, because of my steer, you know, I've always right. And I sort of say, you know what, forget it. This is Test cricket. People say things. And after the break, I came back and for some reason I snapped. I asked him, did you swear at me? And he said, well, I can say whatever I want. That to me is a yes. And I just snapped, and then hence that little confrontation. And I said to him, don't ever swear to me again, because I have no career left. If they ban me for life, I don't care. I will knock you out right here and now. Just like that. So don't, you know.
But that was very unusual, because
you didn't say anything.
Essentially, the West Indies did not sledge. Ambrose Walsh did not say a word out in the middle.
We don't.
Incredibly hostile and fearsome, but without saying a word.
Well, Nas has been swearing at you, so we got you fired up. There's a great line in his book, actually. He was on 399 wickets. He said, I'd quite like it to be Atherton or Stewart because of the battles we've had down the years. I'm not that fussed about Hussain. Are you ready, Nas?
Yeah, thanks for bringing up that Steve Waugh story just before I come in. Right, second ball of the Test, Atherton out, Hussain in. Lunge.
Oh, where were your scoring areas? Where could you try and score off him?
Third man.
Yeah, we know that.
I reckon he bowled about 3 half volleys in his time. He didn't have many areas. Sometimes he'd go a little bit short and wide, very rarely. But no half volleys, definitely no drives. So you're looking to survive, basically. Come on, Curly, rev it up.
Oh, here we go. Yeah!
Oh. Don't rev it up. Good follow through. The other thing, Wardy, just to put in the equation that we haven't touched on, and not making excuses, but in those days, I'm sounding a bit of an old fogey now, some of the pitches in the Caribbean were an absolute nightmare. They were up and down surfaces, and all we used to hear on the commentary and everything was, get forward to Ambrose, get forward to Marshall. But on some of these surfaces,
well, this is the famous
that was the called-off
pathway.
game, and it was an absolute nightmare. You got these guys so accurate. Get forward on that. Really, it was a nightmare.
But you reckon they called it off too early, didn't you?
Well, initially, I thought so. I honestly thought that it wasn't as bad as they made out the pitch. But having seen the replay after, I realized it was, Because, I mean, initially, you're in your zone. You're not thinking about the nature of the pitch. You just want to get wickets, you want to win the game and all that stuff. So I did say...
But it was Brian who made the initial call to bring me onto the field to talk to the umpires. And he said to me, you're the senior captain here, you'll have to make the move to get it abandoned. It was his first Test match as captain. He'd just taken over from Courtney Walsh, who was a Jamaican. He said, they hate me here in Jamaica, and I'm not doing it. He kind of left it to me, left me high and dry.
You mentioned Courtney Walsh. I mean, you became big buddies.
I've never heard of him.
Never heard of him? Well, you took 762 Test match wickets together, so I'm sure you did.
Yeah,
He was like a brother to you, wasn't he?
Yeah, we are more than teammates. Yeah, we're like brothers. Funny enough, it wasn't like that from the start. You know, I got a friend home, Keith, who is before he made West Indies team, always believe in Courtney Walsh. Everything for him is Courtney Walsh. You know, he's a workhorse. He may not have taken many wickets at a time, but he's a workhorse. When things are really tough, Courtney Walsh. So after I made the team, I was saying to him, well, there's some problem here, because you and I grew up together.
Yeah.
You can't have Courtney Walsh ahead of me. You know, that kind of thing. So Courtney and I weren't friends from the start. Then we were roommates. And that's when we really get to know each other. And our friendship built on that. Right.
But how influential was he in keeping you going to get past 400 Test match wickets?
Yes, the series against Pakistan in the Caribbean in 2000, the last Test match was played in Antigua. And I said to him quietly, haven't told anyone before, I said to him, well, you know, this is our last Test match together, because after this game I'm going to retire. I've had enough. I'm not enjoying the cricket anymore, and if I can't give 100%, I prefer not to do it. And he said, no, big man, you can't do that. You know, in Jamaican accent, you know, can't do me that, man. You know, so every day the Test match, he kept telling me, you got to go to England. And ended up on 388 at the end of the Test match. He said, partner.
The other thing was a sense of pride that these guys. I don't know whether we've seen the game against South Africa at Bridgetown. That final morning, how many did you have to defend here? About 80 or something. They had 8 wickets in hand.
That's correct.
The first time South Africa had come to the Caribbean. That was an incredible final morning.
Yeah,
and you and Walsh did it.
They needed 86, you know, the last morning, 8 wickets in hand. And those days we had a rest day in between. So we had a boat cruise put on by the West Indies Cricket Board. And they were partying, shirts off, and they were like, you know, yeah, we have this. And we were in a very somber mood. We were like, boy, we can't allow these rookies. Because they were rookies, basically. Kepler Weston, the captain, was the only one with Test experience. All of them making a debut. I was saying, man, Courtney
and
was
there was
talking.
a bit more significance, you know, South Africa.
Well, you know, Courtney Washington was saying, boy, you know, we can't have these rookies come and beat us here. That is a bad signal. So we were plotting, and I remember Desmond Haynes said the morning of the game, no matter what, if we're going to win, we're going to win with Ambrose and Walsh. If we're going to lose, we're going to lose with Ambrose and Walsh. No matter what, we're going to bowl all day. And that sort of inspired us, you know, said, you know what?
You can see the empty stands there.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a boycott.
It was a boycott.
They dropped the local boy, Anderson Cummings.
That's
There's
correct.
absolutely nobody in the ground.
That's
virtually.
correct. Anderson Cummings played a few one-day games. Never a Test match. And the selectors brought in Kenny Benjamin for the Test match. And the Bajans weren't happy. They figured Anderson Cummings should have played, so they boycott the whole game. But when you look at both Anderson Cummings and Kenny Benjamin, I mean, Kenny Benjamin is a much better bowler, to be honest. You know, but they figured because he played some one days before, he should have been the first choice.
Enough about cricket. Come over here. Come on. This is what you really want to do. You came in and said, what's that? Basketball. Come on, shoot some free throws for us, because this was your love. You wanted to go to the NBA. Let's show us your skills.
No.
We've seen your cricket skills.
No way you want to embarrass me on national TV.
I tell you what, you've got a 5'2" midget trying to smack him.
No, well,
I'm going to drop
no, first of all, you're too far away.
Well, I can't get too... Okay.
I mean, even as if you're that far away, I could blow past you, you know, just a little shimmy, and get past you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Plus, you can't defend me. You're too short.
Really? This all the time.
I can stand here and do that. How are you going to defend me? Look at that. Not even jumping.
Do the free throw.
You know?
Come on, nail it. We got one go, Ambi. We got one go. Oh, no. Have another one.
Listen,
Last one.
make sure you delete that, right?
Last one. It's been a great pleasure to speak to you. Thanks so much for coming.
Middle Stop, a production of Vibes Radio, the champion station, is pleased to be associated with the following stations: GBN Radio in Grenada, Real FM Grenada, Class FM in Jamaica, News Talk Radio Guyana, U97.5 in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean Broadcasting Network in the British Virgin Islands, ABS Radio in Antigua, and CBC Radio in Barbados. Join us as we bring you top-class cricket commentaries on Middle Stop.
A warm welcome back here to North Sound in Antigua, sunlit Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Back after the lunch session. It's just in time for the first ball from Dan and Jahad Silva to be bowled. Bowling to the left-handed Karl Mayer is pushing it into the onside, down to Dennis Chandimal at mid-wicket. There is no run. Of course, Karl Mayer is now on 9 of 14. The West Indies 69 for 2. They lead by 165. Brathwaite on 22. Mayers faces up again, and this one is just looking for the drive, looking to possibly to drive down to long off, but the ball just coming off a thick outside edge and going to, or just coming off the thicker outer part of the bat, just going into the covers, fielded by Ashen Bandaras. So, good afternoon to Marley Richards.
Good afternoon, Garfield.
Excellent. We'll get your comments on this session, which will be crucial. Covering up is the batsman Karl Mayer, coming well forward to one. This ball is trickling down into the onside of the pitch, fielded by Dennis Chandimal at mid-wicket. There is no run. There's a slip in Lahira Thirumani, who dropped pretty much a sitter this morning, and there's a forward short leg, another delivery which is coming well forward is Karl Mayer, playing it into the covers. There is no run, 2 balls left in the over. What do you reckon? This session will be crucial, won't it be?
Yeah, for both teams. The Sri Lankans will be hoping to continue to take wickets here. Also with Bonner possibly not being able to bat. It's only 10 batsmen for the West Indies available. So,
indeed. By the way, this one is turned down to a short fine leg position. Let's see what the signal from the umpire will be leg by. So the first run of the post-lunch session, 70 for 2. Just looking to turn it into the onside as ball because coming off the thigh and is running down to a short fine leg position. So one more 70 for 2. The score now, the lead 166.
And the West Indies will be looking to build this lead, but also taking minimum risk. This game isn't necessarily safe yet. Sri Lanka is still in it.
Here comes Dhananjay De Silva bowling to Craig Brathwaite, who just drives this one to extra cover. There is no run. The end of the over, 25 overs gone, 70 for 2. The West Indies, Brathwaite 22, Mayers 9, 166 is the lead. A crucial session. The sun is still out. To our east is still blue. We want it to stay blue for the rest of the day. There's a forecast of rain, so the players will be having one eye on what's taking place in the middle, one eye on the weather.
Yeah, and you never want to hand the initiative back to the opposition by giving them soft wickets, and I think Jermaine Blackwood contributed to that. The way he went about his innings, quite haphazard in nature, and it wasn't the recipe for success, and he went playing a kind of stroke that, yes, the West Indies are looking to score runs, but very high risk, low reward.
Here comes Dushman Chimera starting a new over from the Sir Curtly Amber's end. Short delivery, down the leg side though. Doesn't have to even duck on rate. Just essentially is coming inside the line and allowing it to be taken down the leg side by the wicketkeeper Nirashandi Kwala. There's no run. The bowler Dushman Chimera, Mali, continues to bowl the short pitch bowling. He thinks that this is going to give him dividends.
I think he's bowled really well, and he's taken a page out of Shannon Gabriel's book, or even Alzari Joseph as well. There was one period, I think on day 2, when the West Indies really went to short pitch bowling, started to get a bit of life and extract whatever out of the wicket, and he's looking to do the same here.
Dushman Chimera starts again, and this one again another short pitch delivery, again down the angle down the leg side, taken by wicketkeeper Nirashandi Kwala. There is no run. Looking to probably just get a quick little nick on it down to down to the fine leg position.
It's quite wide as well.
Right, so possibly getting it fine down to a kind of long leg and possibly getting 4, but was able to get anything on it. 70 for 2, 166. You reckon that still 350 was what the West Indies would want to aim for?
For sure, definitely. But it's going to take some batting, and it's important that the West Indies play properly. Get themselves
the batsman out, essentially.
Yeah, like I said, taking a page out of Shannon's book and really executing on that occasion.
A slip and a gully is placing a short delivery, and this one again aimed at the body. Another body blow for Karl Mayer. The end of a testing over there. 2 runs from that Chimera over. He's 1 for 14 from 6 overs so far. The West Indies, after 26 overs in their second innings, 72 for 2. Brathwaite 23, Mayers 10. The lead 168, but a good testing over with short pitch bowling by Chimera.
Yeah, and it's important that Karl Mayer's concentration levels are at their highest after and before a break. We've seen a couple times in this series where just prior to a break and just after, he's been a bit loose, hasn't been concentrating as hardly as he should have in those situations. Just a little lapse, and he needs to rectify those mistakes.
Then John De Silva starts a new over, bowls to Brathwaite, who just punches his back along the pitch. Well fielded by the bowler, and it's follow through. There is no run, 72 for 2.
Yeah, he needs to show that he's learning. He's still very inexperienced at this level, but he needs to show the progress, incremental improvements, innings by innings.
Indeed, Dan and John De Silva bowling to Craig Brathwaite, and this delivery comes well forward to it. Bat and pad close together, textbook forward defensive shot. Bowler Strickles into the onside, fielded at short mid-wicket, of a straight short mid-wicket in the substitute fielder Ashan Bandara. He's almost in the batsman's line of sight. This is another delivery which is coming forward is Brathwaite, that's pushing it into the covers. There is no run, 72 for 2. Brathwaite, I agree with you, looks absolutely solid, unbothered, unperturbed by anything. He really hasn't looked troubled at all in this innings. He faces another delivery, a little bit of a bounce on that one. He gets on top of it, just turning it into the onside. Ashan Bandara, the substitute fielder, does the fielding. There is no run, 72 for 2, 168 is the lead.
Let's also not forget that the Sri Lankans as well are 1 bowler down. Just like the West Indies are a batsman down, they're a bowler down with that Embul denier injury. So, it's a lot of bowling here for De Silva to do. He's going to have to bowl a lot of overs in order to keep the fast bowlers fresh.
Absolutely, that delivery was from Dan and John De Silva, was displayed back along the pitch. And now there is a short leg, short mid-wicket as well, mid-on, mid-off. There's an extra cover. Here comes another delivery from Dan and John De Silva. It's turned into the onside. The end of the over there from Dan and John De Silva. A maiden over from him. He's 75 Ks on that one. None for 10 from 8 overs. 27 gone. 72 for 2 of the West Indies. The lead 168. Brathwaite 23 from 74. Mayers 10 from 23.
And what we've seen from Karl Mayer in his quite young Test career thus far, especially to short pitch bowling, well, let's say in this Test series, is he doesn't really look to evade the bouncer. He looks to either play a hook or a pull shot, or look to ride the bounce. I think he should also add the duck to his arsenal when playing against a short ball, because it's just not a high risk maneuver in situations like this. He's got to be able to evade the bouncers safely.
Shamira, he's on balls, and this one is just short delivery, just whipped down to fine leg, and 1 run to Mayers, but he didn't quite look comfortable with that at all.
He hasn't.
Indeed, there's a deep fine leg, deep backward square leg, and a short leg for Mayers. They obviously have a plan, especially Shamira to Mayers. He wants to bounce him out.
Yeah, for sure, because they know he's a guy that's almost compulsive on that short delivery, and the field set accordingly. It's important that Karl Mayer doesn't fall into the trap.
Absolutely. So the field now changes around for the right-handed Brathwaite. So Mayer is just getting that one down to deep fine leg, getting a single. So he moves up to 11. The score is 73 for 2. The lead 169. Brathwaite on 23 from 74 comes back on strike. There's a short leg for him. There is a leg gully as well for Brathwaite, and mid-on as well. Here comes Chimera. It bowls, and this one a short pitch delivery, and Brathwaite is getting on top of it, just hitting it down to that mid-on fielder, Visher Fernando. That's ringing in his left hand. He seems to be a little bit. It bounced right in front of him. Actually, he hit it hard into the ground. Brathwaite.
He was worried about the cut strips there. You see that those pitches. He's worried about the bounce off the cut strips.
Absolutely. So that one just bouncing right in front of him.
In front of him.
Him on the
he
hand.
saved it.
Yes,
that's the best. That's the best thing he could have done there.
Absolutely. Slip, gully, backward point, mid-off, and on the leg side there's a short leg and a leg gully. Here comes another delivery outside the off stump. Pitch shot more this time. Outside the off stump, probably inveigling Brathwaite into the drive, but Brathwaite will not be tempted. He leaves that one to be taken by Nirashandi Kuala. There's no run, 73 for 2.
And Chimera hung that one outside the off stump there, because on the previous delivery, it was a short ball outside the off stump, and we saw the wrists come into play, the strong wrists of Craig Brathwaite, and we tried to whip it past Fernando. They didn't quite manage that, but he's feeling pretty confident with his play, and we know he's strong through the onside. So good signs here for the West Indies from Captain Brathwaite.
Brathwaite starts to waits now, and this delivery is pitched up and driven down to mid-off. It will run close to the long-off boundary. Fielder after it, he will pull it back just inches inside the boundary. Captain Dimuth Kirunaratne, they come back for 3 runs. So good shot there, confident stroke by Captain Craig Brathwaite, coming right out towards it. Didn't go for power on it, well timed, stroking it past mid-off. Very straight drive, excellent cocked elbows as well. 3 more runs, he moves up to 26. The score 76 for 2.
Yeah, like I said, when a player such as Brathwaite is maneuvering balls outside the off stump and looking to whip, and it gives you a good indication of his mind, of where his mind's at. Yeah, he's in a good place right now. He's feeling really confident, and he's looking to show the way, lead the way from the front.
Absolutely. Brathwaite continues 126 in the first innings, 26 not out here. A short delivery,
that's
ducking good. Under it or evading it more was the batsman Karl Mayer, and the ploy continues. Short bowling to Karl Mayer. They're going to pepper him with some short balls, the same as Shannon Gabriel did with Dinesh Chandimal yesterday morning, peppering him with short balls, eventually winning the day. It paid dividends because Chandimal pulled straight into the hands of Hayden Walt Jr., the substitute fielder. They're hoping, the Sri Lankans are hoping that Karl Mayer does the same.
And you're wondering, why is he looking at times pretty uncomfortable to Chimera from over the wicket here? But being the left-hander, the angle at times, it's in that blind spot. You know, for a left-hander, he's got to really, really be concentrating and looking to get 2 eyes on this ball here.
Chimera starts again. He's up and bowls. Another short delivery, looking for the pull shot there. He's actually got hit. The ball is running down to fine leg, and they get through for 1. Let's see what the umpire's leg by signals. So didn't get any bat on it. It hit him. Where did it?
It's hit him in the grill, I think. Again, it looks that way. Yep.
And a good short, another well-directed short delivery. 5 runs from that over. The lead now is 173. The score is 77 for 2. He takes off the helmet at Karl Mayer's, and I'm pretty sure that they'll possibly have. Yes, the physio is coming on in the sport nowadays. You have to have the concussion check
protocol,
as a matter of protocol. It's standard operating procedure. So a good, well-directed short delivery, and didn't quite handle it well at all. He was looking for the pull shot. It was onto him quite quickly. Hit him on the helmet, and so the physio out now to just double check on the helmet, and also, of course, we'll ask him a few questions to make sure that he hasn't suffered a concussion. 28 overs gone, 77 for 2. Brathwaite 26, Mayers on 11.
What's also contributing to Mayers being uncomfortable with these short balls is the variance in bounce. Some are going over his head, some are just skidding on in line with that body, and he's just struggling to work out which ones to evade and which ones to actually look to play that pull or hook shot to.
Absolutely, and of course Pakistan, South Africa, and Australia to come to the West Indies list.
A
lot of pace, and a lot of bounce. We're talking about people like Mitchell Stark, and
they'll be watching.
They will be watching.
The analysts are already going through it.
Absolutely.
So this is Test cricket. This is the highest level. Your game's tested to its maximum capacity, and you either sink or swim.
Absolutely. Kagisa Rabada will also be watching very closely as well.
Henrik Nortie.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Ngidi as well, you know, just a lot of pace. I'm looking forward to it, Garfield.
Indeed, the Pakistanis also have some good young quicks as well. So I'm certain that the batsman, the batting coach for the West Indies will also be looking on to make sure that whatever deficiencies out there, they're sorted. Here comes Dhananjay De Silva, starting on the over. He's up and bowls to Karl Mayers, and Mayers comes right forward to this one. To be honest, the covers, there is no run, 77 for 2.
To be honest, we can already expect. You know, we know what Karl Mayer is going to get from these bowlers. They're already doing their homework, Garth.
Absolutely. This one is pulled into the onside. It will run into the boundary for 4. down to a deep fine leg. 4 runs, just turning that one around the corner. And the deep backward square leg fielder running around to his left, wasn't able to stop it. And a wide fine leg position, almost a backward square leg position, just turning it around the corner. Badly lined delivery by Dananjada Silva. One of the few bad balls he's bowled today. He's kept things relatively tight, but just missing his line, possibly because of the right-hand, left-hand combination.
Yeah, and I think also Craig and Kyle should have a conversation here, because Craig's looking pretty comfortable against Chimera. It's not quite the same angle. And I think Craig should be looking to take most of these deliveries against Chimera, and Kyle should be looking to press De Silva here.
De Silva bowls, and this one is coming right forward. Is the batsman Karl Mayer is pushing it into the covers. Bandara does a feeling no run, 81 for 2.
But that's a bit old school. That's like old school cricket. Now the ego plays a bigger role in these players, and I'm not sure they'll even be discussing such situations.
Indeed, this one is punched into the covers. Fielded there by Dasun Shanaka, the substitute fielder. There is no run. There's nice flowing cover drive there by the batsman Karl Mayer. Batsman doesn't want to seem as if, especially a top batsman, doesn't want to be seeming as if he's being shielded from the bowling.
The team's the actual, the team and what you're trying to do is actually the bigger aim here, or the major priority.
Absolutely, another delivery here, and he is taking another pad, loud appeal there, appealing vociferously. And will they go upstairs for the review? Taking on the pad there, they will, the time is now 8 seconds, 7 seconds, they've taken the review. So the review going upstairs for LBW there. Let's see what the decision is. We'll look at the reviews remaining. 2 for the West Indies, 2 for the Sri Lanka. The score 81 for 2. Dananjada Silva bowling to Karl Mayer. He came forward.
It's just whether he got him outside the line of the off stump.
Indeed, and so the ball pitching in, and
he looks like he hit that.
Did he take an inside edge on that one? The ball taken on the pad. It seems as if it missed the bat actually by a little bit. Of course, we'll see on Ultra Edge whether or not he missed the bat. The bat and pad were close together. There was a little bit of a gap there between bat and pad. Seems to have been taken on the pad.
Yeah, it's a pad first, and that's looking close here, Garth.
Let's see. The Sri Lankans are pretty confident. You could hear the appeal in the stump microphone. They appealed and appealed again. The umpire said not out. That's Joel Wilson, the umpire, saying not out. So the soft signal is not out, and they're starting to congratulate each other because they think that they're onto something. Lakmal really leading the conversations here in the huddle of the Sri Lankan players. Karl Mayer is looking a little bit nervously up to the monitor here. Let's see. It was pitched outside off stump, hitting umpire's call on the impact, and umpire's call on the wicket as well. So so he survives. He survives this review.
I'm not sure I know what DRS is anymore, boy. I don't know. I'm flummoxed.
You are a little bit bewildered.
Yes.
Bemused.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. So the Sri Lanka.
Did that look like impact outside the off stump?
No, it did not. It did not at all. Just from the naked eye. Just from where we were looking. Just looking at
I knew that would be the issue, but was it definitively? That's the thing.
Although, to be fair, it's umpire's call because it was very marginal. And when it's marginal, it's umpire's call.
Keeping that human element.
Indeed. 81 for 2. So Mayer survives. Dananjada Silva tries again. Short leg and a slip in place. And this one is hit in the air in the covers. 2 bounces down to Dasun Shanaka. He gets a single, but he's not, he didn't quite play that well. It was in the air. He went for the shot. And there's a deep cover fielder who's Dasun Shanaka. It went about 2 bounces to him. The end of a very testing over there from Dananjada Silva. 29 gone, 82 for 2. The West Indies in their second innings. The lead, 178. Brathwaite, 26 off 77. Mayers, 16 off 32. Mayers being tested very, very stiffly here.
It's also important that Kyle Mayers, when facing De Silva from that Sir Andy Roberts end, looks to get the bat in front of the pad. De Silva isn't a big spinner big turner of the ball, and he's looking to run that ball back into Kyle Mayers' pad. He needs to get the bat out in front.
Here comes the Chimera. He's up and bowls. Another short delivery in the air, but away from the mid-on fielder. He gets one, and that's all he'll get. Perhaps he stays. He doesn't want to perhaps be eager to come back for the second run. He wants to probably stay off the striker a little bit from Deshmantha Chimera. Deshmantha Chimera has troubled Karl Mayer. Another short delivery. He played that from deep in the crease, and he hit it in the air. But away from the mid-on fielder, and he got 1 run. So 83 for 2, but Mayer's not quite looking solid yet.
Yeah, and it's just a good testament of good fast, short bowling, ruffling many a feather, and we've seen it many times before, and we'll see it again in the future.
Here comes Chimera to bowl to the right-handed Craig Brathwaite, and this one is just punching it, just back of a length delivery, is punching it into the offside. Fielded there by Dimuth Karunaratne at mid-off. There is no run, 83 for 2. So for Dushman the Chimera bowling to Craig Brathwaite, there's a slip gully as well as a backward point. There's also on the leg side a leg gully, a short leg, mid-on, deep fine leg, and a deep backward square leg. So that's the field for the bowler here. So he's keeping with those two outfielders on the leg side and on the short leg. And he's added as well a leg gully. So let's see what Dushman the Chimera does. He bowls, comes and passes, the umpire bowls, and this one is pitched up. A little bit leading backwards, Craig Brathwaite, as he hit that one, possibly expecting a shorter delivery.
Didn't
just
transfer the weight
absolutely
onto the front foot.
Even though his front foot was forward, his weight was on the back foot as he hit it. He still managed to play quite well in the covers and got one. He rehearses a shot, simulates a better cover drive there. So he got one. He moves up to 27, 84 for 2, and now 3 deliveries left in this over. It will be interesting to see what Karl Mayer will get from Dushman the Chimera. Let's see what the field will be like. Short leg, there's a deep fine leg, deep backward square leg still. There's a mid-wicket who's a little bit deep as well. It's almost a wide mid-on. Here comes another delivery from Dushman the Chimera. Short, it goes for the pull shot, and just over the head there of the backward square leg fielder. Shouldn't he have been on the boundary rope? Because had he been on the boundary rope, Bandara, he might have been able to take that one.
He's specifically been set about 10 yards in. But Karl Mayer has managed to clear him on that. Okay, he's been set there, but like you said, he possibly should have been on the rope. It would have been easier to come in that 10 yards and take that catch than to take it over your head.
Absolutely.
And it's still gone for 4.
Absolutely.
So very interesting field placing there in terms of how far he is away from the boundary.
So Karl Mayer is moving up to 21. He would have had his heart in his mouth at one point there. 21 off 34. 2 balls left in the over. 88 for 2. The lead 184. Here comes Dushman the Chimera steaming in again. He's up and bowled. Short delivery looking for the pull shot again. Doesn't make contact. Taking another leg side. Ball the wicket keeper Shandy Kuala. And of course, it's almost as if he can't pull out of it.
It's pretty similar stuff to Jermaine Blackwood. Every delivery is an event here when Karl Mayer is on strike. He's still looking to play his strokes. Yes, the West Indies need to pick up runs, but also the West Indies need to be careful here because 2 quick wickets brings Sri Lanka right back in this game, and you don't want to put undue pressure on yourself going into these final 2 sessions.
By the way, there's a slight change that Dimuth Karunaratne is asking. He's strengthening the onside field, so he's pushing Ashan Bandara to a deep mid-wicket position. He's pushing a deep backward square leg out.
This is similar to the Shandimal situation.
Absolutely.
Very similar, and it's important to see how Kyle reacts in this situation. Because we saw what Chandimal did.
Deep fine leg. By the way, he's coming now over the wicket. He's up to the wicket. Around the wicket. He comes balls and looking for the pull shot there. Why on earth was he going for that? That was not as short as the previous deliveries. He went for the pull shot. Why do you try a shot when there is a deep fine leg, deep backward square leg, and a deep mid-wicket out? The end of the over there, another testing over from Karl Mayer. Going this time around the wicket to the batsman Karl Mayer. The end of the over, 30 overs gone, 88 for 2. Mayer's 21, Brathwaite 27, the lead 184. Chimera is causing trouble for Karl Mayer.
Yeah, and when we've seen Karl Mayer play well, he's still quite inexperienced at this level, but when we've seen him play well, it's when he's just reacting to the delivery. On this occasion, he's stopped reacting to deliveries, and he's premeditating. He's already forecasting what he thinks the bowler is going to bowl. And when you do that, it's never really a good thing. It's important that he stays calm and just reacts to the deliveries naturally.
Well, Dhananjaya Silva to start a new over. It's an extraordinarily enthralling period of play here,
This game's still in the balance, very much so, Garfield.
Absolutely. Silly point as well as a slip in place as Dhananjaya Silva bowls to the captain, Craig Brathwaite. Comes forward, playing it in the offside. Silly point does the fielding. In addition, there's a short, straightish mid-wicket. There is a mid-on, mid-off, as well as an extra cover and a deep cover point, the deep cover as well. Here comes another delivery, and this is punched out to the aforementioned deep cover fielder. Comes out to do the fielding. It's Vishwa Fernando who does the fielding. One more to Brathwaite. He's doing this quite easily, Brathwaite. As I said, it's almost like a tale of two batsmen, a tale of two matches.
It's like two different matches.
Absolutely. Brathwaite is having a rather unperturbed innings, and Karl Mayer is having
everyone else
trouble
that we've seen thus far. Campbell, Blackwood, and now Myers.
Absolutely. Well, at the same
Mayer,
time,
sorry.
Indeed, Brathwaite is having an easy time. This one is turning to the onside uppish lead. Will run close to the boundary. Chase on here for Vishwa Fernando. He manages to come around to it. 2 more runs to the score. Mayers is turning that one uppishly through deep mid wicket. Running around from that backward square position was Vishwa Fernando to do the fielding. Running around to his right, sprinting around, we should say, doing the fielding. 2 more runs. 91 for 2 now. Mayers moving up to 23. 23 of 37. Faces up again. Here comes Dhananjaya Silva around the wicket, balls and driven into the offside. Can't beat the short extra cover fielder who is Ashen Bandara. He just blocks it. He doesn't quite feel it cleanly, but he stops it from going behind him. The fielding is completed by the bowler Dhananjaya Silva. There is no run. 91 for 2. So there's a slip in place. There's a backward point who's rather deep. There's a deep cover and a short extra cover. This one is coming forward is Karl Mayer, just pushing it into the short extra cover position. There is no run. There's also a long off, and long off who is almost back about 3/4 of the way to the boundary. Long on is also about 3/4 of the way to the boundary. There's a mid wicket who is straightish, and there's a deep backward square leg. Here comes this one. Is pushed into the covers. Good thinking there by the batsman Karl Mayer, just pushing it out to the right of Ashen Bandara at extra cover, getting 1 run. So he keeps the strike, and he will now be negotiating another over from Dushmantha Chameera from this is Curtly Ambrose end. He moves up Mayers to 24 or 40. Brathwaite is 28 from 81. The score 92 for 2. The lead is 188 at this point with 31 overs gone.
Yeah, and Kyle's actually critical to this situation because of the rate of scoring that he possesses. Like you said, he's going at 60 and Craig's going at 34, but Craig's the perfect foil for someone like a Kyle Mayers. He's the guy that can actually exert serious pressure onto these bowlers and score quickly. And we know that quick runs are at a premium for the West Indies, but he has to be a bit more selective, Garfield.
Indeed. Well, let's see what happens here. Dushmantha Chameera starts to move in glorious conditions, glorious sunshine from the Sir Curtly Ambrose end. He's up and bowls, short delivery, goes for the pull shot, and that will go down for 4. Well played by Karl Mayer.
Well placed as well.
Absolutely, and dissecting the backward square leg field in the deep mid wicket, and that one just running into the boundary for 4. So well played, well timed, getting on top of that one as well. That's getting on top of it and just playing it away from that deep backward square leg fielder. So 4 runs, 96 for 2. Karl Mayer is moving on to 28.
And that one, you could see, it didn't get as high as Chameera would have liked. He's aiming for the badge. That one only got about roughly rib or chest height. And Kyle played that quite easily and kept it down nicely for 4.
Deep fine leg, deep backward square leg, deep mid wicket. Here comes another delivery, short, and he ducks under it and falls to the ground. As he ducks under it, he just lost his balance there, fell to his backside, did Karl Mayers. The score remains 96 for 2. So he just flexes his left leg there a while ago as he fell to the ground. So just evading that one and just losing his balance there, Mali.
And I think that's why he's quite compulsive, because every time he's looked to evade the short ball, he's looked quite ungainly. And his balance goes. It seems like he doesn't practice evading short deliveries. He mainly looks to play them.
There's a short leg in place, deep fine leg, deep backward square leg, deep mid wicket. Here comes Dushmantha Chameera, short delivery, and another one that he's ducking under it this time, not going for the aggressive shot is Karl Mayers. He'll be thinking about it, he'll be understanding that the bowler will be peppering him, and at some point the bowler might want to try the 1-2 punch and actually pitch one right up and see what happens. I'm pretty sure that Karl Mayers, if he's premeditating, might be hanging back just a little bit, not transferring the weight to his front foot.
For sure, and I'm liking this job from the Sri Lankan perspective that Chameera is doing. He's playing a similar role to Shannon Gabriel, and he's doing it to his maximum ability. He's showing real good physical strength as well to continuously.
Shamira bowls, and this is in the air, and had there been a silly point there, he would have been in business. He didn't quite keep down that one. Short delivery effort ball. You could hear the grunt as he delivered that one. Dashmantha Chimera didn't quite keep it down. Karl Mayer, the ball is ballooning in the air just a little bit, and a silly point fielder would have gobbled that one up. In the end, the close-in fielder is the one on the helmet at short leg, who's Ashado Fernando. Again, not quite keeping on a short
I remember actually asking Curtly Ambrose one time. I remember when the South Africans were bouncing Brian Lara, and Glenn McGrath as well was constantly getting him out with the short ball. And I was asking Curtly Ambrose, do you think that Brian's actually scared of the short delivery? And he says no, he's actually looking to ride these deliveries, and they're getting too big on him. On that occasion, it's the same thing. Evasion is the best method at times.
Still a point is now in. A short delivery goes for the shot. It's in the air. He's getting this one, and that will go into the boundary.
No, it isn't.
Good stop. Good stop, actually, in the end. So two more. Actually, he just got one. So he's absolutely rattled by the short bowling here of Dashmantha Chimera. So looking for the pull, looking for the hook shot there. Didn't quite get it as well as he was actually looking for the pull shot. It came over thick. A top edge, and well stopped there by Dhananjaya De Silva down at a long leg. So one more run to the batsman Karl Mayer. He's again now rehearsing that pull shot. That time he didn't execute at all.
And that came about from the previous delivery, Garfield. That one that he tried to ride, it got big on him, and he couldn't quite. He kept it down, but there was no one. Well, it popped up, but there was no one in that area to take the catch. I think he should be looking to drop those hands, Garfield. Keep the bat out of the way.
Chimera bowls, and this one is a just back of a length delivery, punch into the covers. Shot the stumps by the captain, Dimirth Kurunarana. The batsmen are in. One run, quick single there from Brathwaite to bring up the end of the over. So the end of the over there from 6 runs from it from Chimera, but another testing one. Karl Mayer's 29, Brathwaite 29, 98 for 2. Extraordinarily enthralling situation unfolding here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, the sunlit Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. The clouds for the moment are staying away. The rain is staying away. The sun is even watching here on this extraordinary day of cricket, the 4th day of this second Sandals Test match. The West Indies lead by 184. They're 98 for 2.
If you're a West Indian fan, when Mayers is on strike, your heart is in your hands. When Craig Brathwaite is on strike, it's just plain sailing. It's easy stuff. And it's just showing you a contrast in where two players are at this point in time. Craig being the really experienced one, and Mayer still making his way at this level.
Here comes another over started by Dhananjaya De Silva bowling to the right-handed Craig Brathwaite. He pushes this one into the offside. There is no run. Again, he continues to almost have almost a different kind of match for him. There's a silly point in place. There's a slip in place as well. Dhananjaya De Silva comes in bowls, and this one is punched. Well stopped by Ashan Bandara. He's at a straightish mid-wicket position, almost in the batsman's line of sight on the onside. He just dives across, does the fielding. The bowler just completes it on his follow-through. No run, 98 for 2. Here comes Dhananjaya De Silva. This one flighted. This one to the right of Bandara, and it's just going down to the mid-on fielder. So one more run to Brathwaite. He moves on to 30. 30 from 85. The score 99 for 2. The lead 195.
And you just want to see Karl Mayer just show a little more control in this situation. Slow it down a little bit. Possibly count to 10, and try and just exude a little more calmness, because you don't want any nerves running through this inexperienced West Indian batting lineup.
This one is played in the air on the onside. It will run into the boundary for 4 down at that wide long on position. So the 100 brought up with that 4 by Karl Mayer's 103 for 2. Mayer's 33, getting one that was pitched on the leg stump and just going back into his stumps and clipping it down to a deep mid-wicket position for 4. 103 for 2. West Indies now lead by 199, so just on the cusp of 200. Absolutely. Here comes around the wicket. Here comes Dhananjaya De Silva bowling, and this one is driven into the covers. Bandara does the fielding. There is no run. 103 for 2. Myers with that boundary moving on to 33 from 47. His strike rate is now 70.2, and he wants to be the enforcer here, but he has to be watchful. He's being peppered with short balls, and this one is stroked down the backward point, can't score. Doing the fielding there is Dushmantha Chameera, who has been his arch nemesis in this inning so far. 103 for 2. The end of the over, 33 gone. De Silva, 5 runs from that over. He's none for 24 from 11. The partnership is now 45 from 79 balls. The lead, 199. The score, 103 for 2. Brathwaite, 30. Mayers, 33.
And Myers has got to be thinking, hey, if I'm here at pretty much near the end of this, if I bat this session, the Windies will be pretty close to their target. The way he's going about it, he's going at 68, near 70 at this point in time. So he's got to be more selective. This is a critical, crucial point of the test match, and he's already in. Why give it the opportunity to someone else to come back, to come out, have to get acclimatized again, you know, and get in on this wicket? So he's got to take this opportunity here and now.
Absolutely. So Dushmantha Chameera will be bowling to Craig Brathwaite, the right-hander. To him, there's a slip, there's a gully, there is a leg gully as well, short leg, deep fine leg, deep square leg, and there is also this delivery pitched up and going for the drive, but again his weight not fully transferred onto the front foot. He was almost leaning back as he drove that one. Pitched up delivery, but perhaps one of the few pitched up deliveries we've seen from Dushmantha Chameera.
It's the second one we've seen in his whole spell, and it's been predominantly short, hostile bowling, and the gas man is back here today. Garth, he's really come out and he's running hard and he's ruffled a few feathers, and he's still looking to take wickets as well. So very good stuff from Dushmantha Chameera.
Absolutely. He starts again, turns at the top of his mark, and the Sir Curtly Ambrose and bustles in, passes the umpire, bowls, and this one is just clipped down to deep fine leg, running around here to do the fielding. They've come back for the second run. Good running there. He played it to the left of the deep fine leg fielder, who had to do some running around to his left. Also running around was the deep square leg fielder, who was running around to his right.
Which tells you it was really well played.
Yes, indeed. He played it where he could get 2 runs on this very big outfield here. That's the Vivian Richards Stadium, 105 for 2, and now it will be Brathwaite continuing to take strike. So still a slip in place, gully, short leg, deep fine leg, deep square leg, and there's a mid-on, mid-off, and there's a backward point as well. That's the field for Dushmantha Chameera. Starts to move in again, bustling run, passes the umpire, bowls. This one just back off a length, just coming into the creases, turning it into the onside, fielded by Vishwa Fernando at mid-on. There is no run, 105 for 2.
Karl Mayer cannot afford to get out in this situation. It's as simple as that, Garfield. This game is still very much alive. The Sri Lankans are still very much in this game, and there's still a lot of time left. A lot can happen between now and the end of play. So it's very important that Karl Mayer digs in. He's already gotten off to a start. He's 33 off 48. So there's no problem if he almost goes back in his shell a little bit and just tries to consolidate a little bit.
Absolutely. 59 overs left in the day. Here comes Dushmantha Chameera. Slipping a gully, go down, bowls, and this one just getting easily on top of it.
Single.
Absolutely. He could have taken that one easily had they wanted to. Vishwa Fernando had to run around to his right at mid-on. That's coming into his crease, the Craig Brathwaite, and is turning that into the onside.
Maybe they've taken my advice.
For Craig Brathwaite to take more of the strike from Dushmantha Chameera.
At this point in time, even for 5-10 minutes, you know, it's good to watch from the other end. It's still valuable information you're picking up from the other end.
Well, it's a slip gully, leg gully, short leg, deep fine leg, deep square leg, mid-on, mid-off, as well as a backward point field. That one, short delivery, ducking under it easily. Evading that one is Craig Brathwaite. So trying the short ball at Craig Brathwaite doesn't have the same kind of effect. He's not a compulsive puller as is Karl Mayers, and so it doesn't have the same
he
kind
won't
of...
be lulled into those strokes.
Yes, indeed. So unless he bowls one that is rising sharply from a better length, he's probably not going to trouble. He's not going to trouble the batsman Craig Brathwaite. Brathwaite looks set, solid, compact. He's playing really well here. 32 from 90 he is, to go with his 126 in the first innings. 105 for 2 the score. Over number 34. The lead, 201. Dushmantha Chameera starts in again, balls, and this one just pitched up and whipped out into the onside, down to a deep mid-wicket position. Doing the fielding there is Dinesh Chandimal. There is 1 run for Brathwaite. He moves up to 33 and keeps the strike. The end of the over there from Chimera, 3 runs coming from it. He's 1 for 33 of 10 overs, Dushmantha Chimera. The lead is now 202. The score 106 for 2. Brathwaite 33, so is Mayers. And it's a really great enthralling afternoon of cricket.
And if Mayers actually thinks about this a little bit more, he'll know that Chimera is possibly coming towards the end of his spell. Who else in this Sri Lankan bowling attack can ruffle your feathers with sharp bowling? There aren't many. Lakmal is pitching the ball up, looking to nick you off or get you LBW or bowled. Same with Vishwa Fernando. So it's the only main threat in terms of being hurt or anything comes from Chimera, and he's nearing the end of his spell.
Here comes another over started by Dhananjaya Silva. A little bit of excitement there, but it was always a run on there as Dinesh Chandimal had to run around to his left in the covers to field, as that one was steered into the covers by the right-handed Craig Brathwaite. He gets an easy run. He moves up to 34. The score 107 for 2. The lead 203. Mayers on 33 comes back on the strike. Slip short leg in place for him. It will be bowling around the wicket as Dhananjaya Silva from the Sir Andy Roberts end. 107 for 2. Extraordinarily good conditions for cricket. The clouds are staying away for the time being. This one is whipped into the onside, down to mid-on. Running around there was Dinesh Chandimal from mid-wicket looking to cut it off. Wasn't able to, but it went straight to the mid-on. No run. 107 for 2. Here again comes Dhananjaya Silva around the wicket to bowl to Karl Mayers. Up bowls, and this time he's coming forward. The ball just trickling out into the offside. Feeling a short cover by Ashen Bandara. No one. 107 for 2.
Yeah, and Mayers, you know, he's critical to the West Indian cause at this point in time. I think a little more circumspection is in order. Still a lot of time in this game. You know, he's still got time to really press home an advantage a little later on. But he's taking too many chances, especially against Dushmantha Chimera.
Absolutely, and that delivery was just punched down to long off by Karl Mayers, getting 1 more run. He moves up to 34. Both batsmen on 34. 108 for 2, 108 for 2 over number 35. The lead 204. Afternoon session here. The bowling so far for the Sri Lankans, a wicket apiece for Suranga Lakmal and Dushmantha Chimera. They're certainly the ones who've been leading the attack. 4 wickets for Lakmal in the first innings, 3 for Dushmantha Chimera. This one is punched back along the pitch, fielded well by the bowler on its follow-through. Dhananjaya Silva, there's no run. Craig Brathwaite that's getting into line, punching that one back along the pitch. 108 for 2. Brathwaite stays on 34. Afternoon session of day 4. Tomorrow, the last day, Good Friday. Here comes another delivery, which is coming forward. Watchful, defensive shot back along the pitch. There is no run. The end of the over there from Dhananjaya Silva. 2 runs coming from it. 35 overs gone. 108 for 2. The West Indies. Brathwaite 34. So is Mayers. 34 is Brathwaite from 94 balls. Mayers 34 from 51 balls. The lead is now 204. And by the way, the 50-run partnership has come up between these two. 50 from 91 balls with both on 34.
And the West Indies will be hoping that Mayers has possibly listened to or somehow heard what we've been saying up here. Chimera is still on. It's important that he also soaks up pressure. It's not all the time that you can exert pressure onto the bowlers. You've got to soak up some pressure as well at some point. This is Test cricket. Like we say, it's the highest level. So you've got to be able to soak it up in order to exert it later on.
Mayers faces Dushmantha Chimera. He pulls and pulls in front of square. There's a chase on here for Ashen Bandara. They've gone for one. They come back easily for the second. Bandara overhauls the ball as he runs around from deep mid-wickets. 2 more runs, getting the pull shot there this time and playing it quite well in front of square.
It wasn't that short. It wasn't that short, but he's premeditating Gaff. You know, he's really premeditating. He's been ruffled by Chimera here, and he's just basically looking to play a pull shot even before the ball's delivered.
Are you thinking right now he's thinking about the pull shot?
That's all
right
he's
now,
thinking
as the batsman,
about. Based on what we've seen,
at the top of his mouth.
Based on what we've seen, that's what he's thinking, pull shot right now.
There's a short leg and a silly point in place. Here comes Dushmantha Chimera. He's up balls, and this one is in the air and just away from the backward point fielder. They get 1 run, but that was a shot, a nothing shot almost. He was almost in 2 minds. He was probably trying to just steer it. No, he was going for the pull shot, then pulled out of the pull shot, and eventually just played a scoop shot into the offside, just away from the backward point fielder, and getting 1 run, 111 for 2.
And what we're seeing from Mayers here is possibly why I've been saying, even since the first test, that I think he's better suited to batting at number 5 in this West Indian batting lineup. Coming in and starting against the new ball is going to be tough for him, especially, you've seen the teams coming later on in this
And they
summer.
have some extremely good quicks.
They're quicker than the majority of these bowlers here for Sri Lanka, so he should be expecting short deliveries later in the summer.
Chimera over the wicket to bowl, and this one is dropped at short leg. That should have been taken there at short leg by Oshada Fernando. A sharp chance, but you expect Oshada Fernando to take that. And the Sri Lankan captain, Dimuth Karunaratne, is absolutely disconsolate. He's almost apoplectic. A sharp chance, but you expect that one to have been taken. It was just above his head. It was turned by Craig Brathwaite into the onside, and he's now kicking the turf, Oshada Fernando. He's absolutely disappointed with himself. Self-flagellation is going to be the name of the game going forward, because he dropped one that should have been taken at this level, at short leg. You take those chances.
For sure.
Here comes Dushman Chimera starting again over the wicket. He's up on balls and wafting at one outside the off stump is Craig Brathwaite, taken by the wicket keeper. Brathwaite would be disappointed that he even attempted that shot to that delivery. Wide delivery outside the off stump, pitched up, and there was no foot movement as wafting the bat at it, similar to a delivery or the kind of shot that got him out in the first test, and that one, fortunately for him, no edge taken.
There's our guy, Mickey Arthur, once again, with a little shake of the head. Not too happy with what he's seeing. The out cricket of the Sri Lankans letting them down again. They're catching in particular. They've shelled quite a few chances in this test, and it's helped to keep the West Indies ahead thus far.
Here comes Dushman Chimera. Unfortunate he is, and this one is whipped into the onside leg. It can't be the leg gully though, who scoops that one up, so there's no run. One more ball left in this over. It's all happening here. 111 for 2, so that one was a turn into the onside 2 balls ago, and there was Oshada Fernando under the helmet at short leg. It went straight, pretty much straight to him. He had his hands up, but it hit the hand rather than him actually going for the catch. Hit the hand and then fell to the ground, and there was a chance going a begging.
Nerves can actually spread through a team, Terry. Did mention that earlier. With the way Blackwood was playing, Craig's been pretty calm, but Myers has come in and been quite haphazard as well.
Here comes the Dushman Chimera. He's in balls, short delivery, ducking on the red is Craig Brathwaite, taken by the wicket keeper. There is no run. The end of a very testing over, an over in which he should have gotten the wicket of Craig Brathwaite, who was dropped at short leg. Dushman Chimera putting in the hard work. 1 for 36 from 11 overs. 36 overs gone. The West Indies 111 for 2 in their second innings. They lead by 207. This is the afternoon session of day 4. Brathwaite 34, Mayers 37.
If you're a neutral, this is absolutely entertaining, riveting stuff. It's not the best, most clinical test cricket, but it's entertaining. The bowlers are doing a fantastic job. They're working really hard in quite flat conditions, and making life very uncomfortable for the West Indian batsmen and Karl Mayers in particular.
Absolutely. So if you're just joining us, let's remind you what happened today. The West Indies were able to complete, to bowl out the Sri Lankans this morning very, very quickly. Kemar Roach just mopping up the tail for the Sri Lankans. They were able to make 258 in their innings. 258 the Sri Lankans made. It therefore gave the West Indies a handy lead on which they have been building. A handy lead for the West Indies. They've gone up to 111 for 2. The lead is now 207 that they're setting a target for the Sri Lankans, and the Brathwaite, the captain, is on 34. Karl Mayer is on 37, and so far a wicket apiece for Suranga Lakmal and Dushman Chimera. Chimera perhaps deserves more wickets.
And now
he has
the main danger is back
that.
on.
Absolutely.
Suranga Lakmal is back on, so the Sri Lankans sensing an opportunity and getting their best ball. Change the decision. They changed it.
So it's Dananjada Silva who is going to continue most likely. But you have to say at some point it's not very far. It's not very long.
No, it's not a long way.
Not
a long way. Not a long time before Lakmal's back in this attack. Sri Lanka need wickets, and they need wickets now. And they're going to throw the ball to their spearhead.
Let's tell you about who would have been dismissed so far. John Campbell was caught behind of the bowling of Saranga Lakmal for 10. And Jermaine Blackwood, after a rather hairy, scary, helter-skelter innings from him, he was eventually caught behind, attempting an uppercut. He was caught behind of the bowling of Dushmantha Chimera for 18. So those are the two batsmen who have been dismissed. Craig Brathwaite was dropped at short leg earlier. Here comes Danajah Da Silva bowling to Karl Mayer, who punches this one into the covers, fielded, but not before they get a single. Dinesh Chandimal doing the fielding on the white floppy hat at cover. There is one run, so 112 for 2, 112 for 2. Mayer is moving up to 38 with that single.
And if you remember in the first innings, it was Oshada Fernando that dropped that catch off Craig Brathwaite as well at when he had the helmet on at that short, like gully third slip position. So in both innings, giving the captain a chance, he could come back to haunt them.
This one is a pitched up delivery by giving a lot of flight on it from Danajah Da Silva, just digging that one out, almost a kind of yoke length delivery. Just playing it back along the pitch was Craig Brathwaite. There is no run, 112 for 2, 37th over being bowled. The lead 208. Another delivery which is right up for the batsman. He gets right behind it, Craig Brathwaite, playing it back along the offside of the pitch. There is no run. Silly point, who is Oshada Fernando, slip in Lahira Thirumani. There is also a straight extra cover mid-off and a deep cover. This one is turned to mid-wicket. Can't score. Fielded there at mid-wicket. Does appear to be...
any favours, Garfield, they'll be disappointed with their efforts in the field, and especially the catches. None of them really have been difficult chances, but as they say, they couldn't catch a cold in the middle of Britain at the moment.
Lahira Thirumani dropped Jermaine Blackwood. Jermaine Blackwood didn't really profit from it. Oshada Fernando dropped captain Craig Brathwaite. This one, Brathwaite is just playing it into the covers. Can't score. Lakmal bowling to Brathwaite for the first time in this new spell. He's bowling from the Sir Curtly Ambrose, and he's replaced Dushmantha Chimera, who, as Mali had predicted, was coming to the close to the end of his spell. He couldn't go on forever bowling at that level of effort, and certainly he put his back into it, and you have to give him a lot of credit. And he ought to have gotten the reward there. Oshada Fernando didn't cooperate, didn't really do his end of the bargain by taking the catch at short leg.
Not at all. And, as short leg catches go, it was in the bracket of easy, really. Should have been swallowed, but it wasn't. And Brathwaite will take full advantage of that, no doubt, as the West Indies soldier on.
So 213 is the lead, 117 for 2 the score. Lakmal starts to move in again. Easy runner, passes the umpire bowls, and this one is turned into the onside down through mid-wicket position, coming off the deep mid-wicket position to field. There is Dinesh Chandimal, the score moving on to 118. Brathwaite moving up by 1 to 35, 118 for 2 over number 38. Mayer's on 43 comes back under strike. Really hasn't been troubled so far yet by Lakmal. Lakmal is a different kind of bowler, perhaps not going to put in that level of, pepper him with the short balls as Chimera did, but he'll bowl him very tidy line, and if he makes a mistake, Lakmal will pounce. He's the kind of bowler that he tries to work out the batsman. He's going to be attacking him from around the wicket. Let's see what he'll be able to do here. 2 slips gully, as well as let's see, the captain is marshalling his soldiers here. There's a mid-off cover, and there's almost a kind of a short point as well. Another delivery which is punched magnificently into the onside. It will go into the boundary for 4. Just chasing pretty much to pick up the ball is Dushmantha Chimera, but excellent on drive by Karl Mayers, getting yet another boundary. What a fantastic shot. 122 for 2, and Mayers moving on closer to another half century. He's on 47.
Yeah, excellent shot once again by Karl Mayers, and he really took the attack to Lakmal here. Lakmal is on a very, very important spell here for Sri Lanka. You feel that if they got any chance of staying in this match or forcing West Indies' hand, Lakmal must strike.
Here comes Lakmal around the wicket, balls and going for the shot there into the onside, coming off an inside edge, living dangerously there. Lakmal walks up to the bowler, walks up to the batsman, has a discussion with him, and Mayer says, "What's wrong? Why are you even talking to me right now?" Possibly that's what he said. I don't know what he said, but let's see. Well, obviously it wasn't the kind of discussion, a cordial discussion to say, good afternoon, Mr. Mayers. How are you doing today? What did you have for lunch? That wasn't the kind of discussion. So the end of the over there from Lakmal, 10 runs coming from it, and over in which Mayers hit him magnificently for a boundary. Brathwaite, is on 35. Mayers 47, 122 for 2. The lead now 218.
Yeah, I think Lakmal, they're bowling trying to keep his impeccable line and length. Not happy with Mayers advancing and coming across his stumps to try and knock him off his line.
Here comes Dhananjaya de Silva, starting a new over the wicket and bowls, and this is pulled into the onside. Can't beat the mid-wicket fielder, who is Dasun Shanaka, who is one of the substitute fielders. Reminding you that Lasith Embledonaya was stretchered off in the morning session. Still no update on him just yet. We're still awaiting that. Slip and a gully, slip and a silly point as well, as this one is punched into the deep cover position, fielded by Vishwa Fernando. There is one more to Brathwaite. Brathwaite moves up to 36 of 107. His strike rate of 33.6. Mayers on 47 of 58 with a strike rate of 81 comes back on the strike.
Yes, and important little passage here for Mayers is that scores in the series of 45, 52 and 49. So he's on 47 now. Can he go on with it this afternoon?
Here comes the Silva. The first water break of the session will be coming up shortly. Here comes Dhananjaya de Silva. He's up on bowls, and this one just going back and punching it down to mid-on position. He was thinking about the single but chose against it. So Dasun Shanaka as well as Ashan Bandara are still on. So of course, Lasith Embledonaya